Hello again. I must say that I have hardly ever heard anybody seriously expressing hatred for any other person, whether because that person is homosexual, black, foreign, or wishes to change sex. When did viewers last hear anyone say, I hate him or I hate them? It's perhaps I move in different circles, I don't know. Perhaps I live in a fairly restricted or protected environment. I cannot really remember anybody ever saying, I hate black people or I hate homosexuals. This is odd, since we are assured that hate speech is common and hate crimes on the increase. It's actually a cunning trick which entails the use of a false dichotomy which compels us to subscribe to a certain ideology. Let me explain how this works. A few decades ago, before everybody became so sensitive to the feelings of homosexuals and people wanting to change sex, as well as immigrants and people of colour, one really would not hear anybody say, I hate gay people or I hate foreigners. The worst that you might see or hear might be somebody indicating he had little time for gays or preferred to keep clear of immigrants. In other words, negative views would generally be mild and not usually very strongly expressed. The situation today is that most people are used to paying lip service to the idea that they love living in a multiracial society, or that they are very keen on pride marches and seeing rainbow signs all over the place. It's not so much those who voice their hatred are liable to end up being accused of some phobia or hate speech, but rather those who fail to demonstrate sufficient enthusiasm for these minority groups. If your workmates are talking in a pleased and excited way of attending a pride march, and you are seen to roll your eyes like that or mutter "Gould" or something, you will be marked out as somebody to watch, somebody with the wrong views. In other words, not expressing enthusiasm and pleasure is enough to have you identified as being the wrong sort of person. Hand on heart, viewers who work, would you, when your fellow employees are talking about pride, dare to roll your eyes and go, God, like that? I'm guessing nobody would. This is not saying which of you would express hatred for homosexuals. I'm asking which of you would fail to express enthusiasm. Which of you would make any sort of contemptuous face or anything? You wouldn't dare. It's because that rolling of your eyes will probably be seen as a microaggression. And from offering microaggressions, it's only a short step to hate speech. Indeed, hate speech does not mean saying that you hate anybody. It really means being sceptical about the benefits of immigration or sodomy or anything else so beloved of liberals. Few of us hate immigrants, but you don't need to hate them to get into trouble. Try saying at work or during a social outing that you would like to see immigration halted or illegal immigrants deported, and that will easily pass the threshold for hate speech. It is enough that you don't proclaim your love and admiration for immigrants to find yourself in hot water. If everybody is extolling the virtues of gender-neutral parenting, and you suggest that little girls should be treated and raised differently from little boys, then you are sure to upset any transsexual within earshot, and quite possibly any allies of transsexuals. And if anybody does get upset, it's enough to see you branded a bully and a transphobe. Tell a joke about homosexuals, and that really can result in a visit from the police investigating a hate crime. Jokes and other language which doesn't actively endorse homosexuality and immigration is seen as a sign of wrong thinking. To avoid falling under suspicion and perhaps facing disciplinary action at work for being racist or homophobic, most people these days either smile and nod and pretend that they're keen on gay people and foreigners, or at the very least they keep their expressions absolutely neutral because they don't want to inadvertently inflict a microaggression on anybody or draw attention to themselves. The result of all this is that anybody who does not show unalloyed pleasure at the idea of sex changes, unlimited immigration, or promiscuous homosexuality is liable to find himself accused of hating gays, black people, or transsexuals. This is the false dichotomy of which I spoke. There are, it seems, only two possibilities. Either you love homosexuals and are happy to see them carrying on in public, or you must hate them. The idea that one is indifferent to gay people and ask only that they keep their proclivities private instead of flaunting them all over the place is not an option. Those who feel this way must be homophobic. They must secretly hate homosexuals. People with jobs and reputation to protect, into which category I happily do not fall, now take great care not to let anybody see that they are not on board with all these modern ideas. Nobody wants to be accused of hate speech, or what is worse, hate crime. Better by far to play safe and pretend that you love every minority, ethnic and sexual, in the country. In other words, people are too frightened to reveal that they do not buy into the modern ideology. People are pressurized and made afraid to show any deviation, and so they apparently subscribe to an ideology which they might secretly regard with contempt.